Let's talk about the business of charging single people for dates and the downfall of these online dating apps. Hey, welcome to my channel. I am Dr. Sharice. I help Black men and women heal from trauma and toxic relationships. Today, we're going to be talking about Bumble specifically, but the online dating apps in general. I listened to a podcast, it's kind of an article that I'll link in the description box, about some of the statistics on dating and these apps and how much money they're losing, but also how the newer generation definitely is not using them. So one of the things that really stood out to me was at one point in time, Bumble was valued as a $20 billion company, and currently they're about a $2 billion company. I have used the dating apps extensively from the time I moved to the States in 2013, maybe in 2014 I started using it. You know what? Maybe 2015, whatever. From the time I moved to Miami, I've had a lot of experience with dating apps. I've also lived in Ohio and Cleveland. I used it a little bit, but not really, because I was mostly in a relationship. And then when I moved to Atlanta, I used it for about a year? No, I guess it was like months before the pandemic. I didn't use it during the pandemic, and then after the pandemic, I started using it. A lot of things are different from when I started using the apps back in the beginning of the 2010s. One of the women who were invited on the podcast said she would describe online dating as abusive from the experience of women, and that the dating app industry is imploding. She specifically talked about the gamification of these dating apps and how they're incentivized to keep you single. I can speak to this because when I started using the dating apps, they really were nothing like they are today. Something like OkCupid, which was specifically, I think, designed to really curate your feed, find you actual matches, people who you're interested in, by their tons and tons of questions that you didn't have to answer tons and tons, but they had like a minimum number of questions that they encourage you to answer so that you could find someone who was a good match for you. I think they were really doing a great job in syncing values so that the person you were with, all the other things, if they lined up, you were much likely to continue dating them and then be in a relationship. The last time I used OkCupid, the experience was similar to maybe Bumble. Bumble, when I first started using it, I think I also, like many women, felt empowered by You Make the First Move, because one of the first apps I used when I started doing online dating was POF, which stands for Plenty of Fish. And there's no swiping. Like, you have to do like a lot of manual searches. Anybody can just make a profile. It's very hard to vet to see if it's real. Now, a lot of the online dating profiles have verification so that you know that the picture that you're seeing is actually the person behind. But the last time I used OkCupid, it seemed like a lot of the inherent matches were taken out, and they had put some new features in their instant matches, and sort of the swiping became more pronounced than you being able to search and find somebody who might be a better match for you. The issue I had with Bumble soon after, maybe after I started using it, was the power dynamic of you messaging first. So I didn't see anything wrong really with messaging first. I'm not against a woman shooting her shot, but I think my definition of what a shot is different. Like, my shot is, I told you happy birthday, or I like 3 of your pictures, right? That's me shooting a shot. I'm not going to, be like so forward, if I was on Facebook or a dating app and saying how interested I am and wouldn't it be so great to get to know you. I'm not doing all of that for a man, because the kind of man I'm looking for is one who really enjoys pursuing, which I think is what most women would like. They want a more so masculine man than not. A lot of women, I don't think, knew how to send an initial hello message, how you doing message, and let it be without then feeling like you needed to take over and run the conversation. It, in a way, made men lazy. And this is something I've heard like across dating apps, like access to women. The bar has been lowered for so many men that would never have had this level of access to women. I kind of joined this along with like the sexual liberation of women, because my stance is very much, I'm not giving anything away for free. My body is a temple, and so you have to earn access to being that intimate with me. So a similar tactic for using the dating apps. I'm not going out of my way to have a conversation with a man who's not interested in me, you know? And if we know men, even ones that are married to women that they don't really like, but there are enough benefits there for them that they will stay. A lot of people, this is not exclusive to men, but a lot of people are lonely, they're bored, they're just looking for somebody to keep them company, they're just looking for somebody to warm their bed for that particular night, or somebody to hang out with so that they feel like they have something to do. I'm not here. I've never been here for those kind of men. I've really been interested, I'm a relationship girly, right? But even when I was casually dating, it was very important for me to be around somebody that I thought was interesting, someone I felt I could learn something from, somebody that we could have a really fun, easygoing conversation. We could have a great time when we're out. I'm not just going out to go out. I enjoy my own company. I don't have to look for somebody on the app to distract me from my life, because I like my life. But between Bumble, having the woman message first, a lot of these other sites that didn't really protect women from verbal assault or, ocular rape, I think I heard somebody call it. You know, when men just send images of their penis like you asked for it, or like what a privilege for you to get it. There are some things I think that the apps could have done better to help make it a more safe environment for people who are actually looking for relationships. I think nothing is wrong if you want to do casual sex and the hookup culture, and you just need, you're in a town for the night and you want some company. However you want to use the app, I think it's fine. But I also think it's the sort of the duty of the dating apps, if they say their goal is to get you into a relationship, for them to actually put effort into doing that, which I do not think they've been doing. One of the theories I've heard about dating apps is initially when they're founded, they attract a lot of young professionals. They attract people, who know about it first. Even if they're marketed as a college campus app, or a young professionals app, that's who you'll get on first. And so for a couple of years, it's really a great experience. When I first joined Hinge, when I moved to Atlanta, I was like, oh my gosh, like these guys all have jobs. They're well groomed, they're good looking, they write things in their bio, the pictures that they took, I think, really reflect what their life looks like. Last time I was on Hinge, I was only on Hinge for a week before I met my boyfriend, but they have done a change in, we're talking about the revenue, right? Because these dating apps are businesses that want to make money. They have put all of the best people behind a paywall. You have to, I don't know what it is. I've never paid for any of the dating apps. I definitely refuse. I do think it's a good strategy, I think, for men, because men are much less likely to get a lot of messages than women. That's just in my experience. I also know I'm attractive and I'm very interesting, right? So I always got a lot of messages. But if I was serious about, if I was a man and I was serious about finding a wife, maybe I would, if I realized that so many of the women were behind a paywall, that this would be an investment. But as a woman, I can't imagine, it would mess me up in the mind, the idea of paying for access to the men that y'all are hiding, but the best bachelors, y'all are hiding behind a paywall. Something about that feels really, really gross to me. That however the algorithm works, the people are liked or clicked on the most, you make them unacceptable, right? Because they also, you have your feed that you can see people, was it a limit of 5 a day? It's been a while. You can see a certain number of people, or you can heart or dismiss a certain number of people a day. And the ones that were behind the roses, right? You had to buy a rose or a subscription. You just wouldn't see on your feed, like they would never show up. This is like 2023. After, I was like, that is so interesting, because before, however they had it structured before, I don't think they always did roses. However they had it before, eventually the people who were hidden behind the feed would show up and you would be able to interact with them if you like. But now, oh my goodness, I think it's really messed up, like that formula for people who say they want you to find a relation, because no you don't. Okay, so let's talk about self-esteem and online dating. Self-esteem impacts all areas of your life. Self-esteem will impact how you date, how you pursue, how you respond to men or women in general, but particularly on the dating app, where in person men would have to walk up to a woman and introduce himself, ask for a number, see nonverbal language, see what the vibe was, to see, am I going to be embarrassed, am I going to be rejected, and even if I am rejected, how do I manage those feelings and not feel like I own women? And so how dare you say I can't get your number or you don't want to talk to me, right? A lot of people have lost or didn't learn the soft skills of social interaction, not just because of the pandemic, but also because we're in the age of internet. And I think it's easier for a lot of men to be rejected, virtually than it is to be rejected in person. But for women, also the idea that the guy you want hasn't messaged you can mess with a lot of people's minds. And some people feel like if they don't succeed, right, meet somebody and then be in a whole relationship, on dating apps, then you are a failure, like you did it wrong, or that something is wrong with you. I really encourage people to use dating apps as one strategy for meeting people. You still need to go outside, have a whole life where you are doing things that are fun to you, where you have the organic opportunity to meet people. Most people meet people at work or through friends, but lots of people have meet cutes or at the grocery store or the park, or just doing whatever you enjoy. Focus on that more so than, oh my gosh, I'm going to be single forever if I can't meet somebody on the dating apps. Go outside. Yeah, go outside. On the podcast, they brought up AI dating and the idea of your responses in an online platform being formulated by bots is not foreign. Part of that is already in existence. Bumble, for sure, already had prompts that you could use to engage with people. I think that's a little different than the whole AI will create responses from the response to you. Then that seems like a whole conversation. And I'm thinking about, matchmakers who sort of curate the people that you date and also give you advice on how to have a conversation and, how to ask questions and important things to do on your first date or in the first few months of getting to know somebody. But somehow that seems so different than AI having your conversations for you. That's kind of wild. I could definitely see it happening, but I do not think it's a good idea. So then if we don't have dating apps, or much and much less people are using dating apps, and yes, you can go outside, what are some other options or solutions to this online dating problem? Well, on the podcast, the lady talked about being more community oriented. So focusing on building networks versus just couples, like two people together, and really being invested in giving back to the community and focusing on values, those positive family values and commitment between couples. Because we also live in an age where people act like other people are disposable because I can just get another one. I've talked about that in other videos about dating in Atlanta on my channel, with the false idea that there's one man to 20 women. That's not true, but the idea, it fuels a discarding of women because there's another beautiful woman, there's also another beautiful man, but people don't talk about that more because the mentality of a lot of women here is, I have to fight to get the one, when there's so many. Oh my god. But the focus on community values reminds me of a book review I did on my channel by Sobonfu. Some is the last name. Sobonfu. I'll put it on the screen. Which is that the best couples serve the community. They have a purpose outside of them being in each other's lives. Like, they actually do something more than just love each other. And I think that's part of why, families are important in America, blah, blah, blah. But also that relationships are difficult. Even the person who's your best friend, or who, your soulmate, who you love so much and means so much to you, even if you all are in a low conflict, very healthy relationship, there are going to be life things, like life. I mean, life happens. People die, accidents happen, people lose their jobs, life things that happen that can make connecting difficult. So being committed to each other and not giving up during the values, I think, is also something that needs to be stressed more. We will see what happens in the coming years. The birth rate has been dropping, marriages have been delayed, childbirth, has been delayed. A lot of things have been happening, and I am very much curious to see, like, in the next 10 years, because I believe in looking at 10-year gaps of history to see what the trends are. What's going to happen next? Right? Online dating platforms are becoming less and less interesting, attractive to people looking for a real connection and real relationships. What will be the next thing? I'm curious. Somehow reality dating shows are not going away. They're becoming more and more ingenious about them, and I think those are a complete waste of time. I've thought about reviewing them on my channel. I just don't want to kill my brain cells. We'll see. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. You can also share this video if you think someone else will find it interesting. And thank you for watching.